What's going on, everybody? Scott Bogman here for Betting Pros to give you my favorite picks and props for Week 7 of the college football season. And I want to remind you guys before we dive in that we are brought to you by our new presenting sponsor, the Hard Rock Bet Sportsbook app. Roll with Hard Rock Bet this season. Sign up with the Hard Rock Bet app today. Place your first $5 bet, and if it wins, you will score $150 in bonus bets on top of your winnings. That's just one more reason to check out the Hard Rock Bet app and see why it gets so many stars and such great ratings. It's our last show of the week before Sunday, so if you're looking for more insights on what you can bet before then, you can check out the Hard Rock Bet's Stats Hub right there in the app. Kansas City has won 12 in a row as home favorites. Achane has scored a touchdown in 7 straight home games. Here's a weird one. CMC and Kareem Hunt have hit pay dirt in 7 consecutive October games. Plenty more where that came from. All one tap away at any time on Hard Rock Bet. On Hard Rock Bet, you can get profit boosts for football parlays every day through Monday. Back-to-back college profit boost today and Saturday, plus a profit boost for the Sunday games and another Monday night. There's new promos every day, so no matter when you listen to this, open the app, check out what you've got any single day of the week, download the Hard Rock Bet app, and make your first deposit. All right, let's dive into how we did last week. Another sub 500 week here, just barely 6-7 on my picks, 5-6 on the props, bringing us to 27-31 on the picks and 35-29 on the props. We didn't get Michigan minus 17.5. This one ended 24-10. Michigan had a chance to score at the end. They didn't need to, and they didn't punch it in. Wisconsin team total under 13.5, though we got that side of it. Virginia at Louisville, I had the over 61.5. I really like what Virginia had done. They ended up winning 30-27, so 57 right on the doorstep. We just didn't get all the way home there. Cincinnati on the money line, we got that. It was an easy win over Iowa State. I was completely wrong about my Longhorns against Florida. Florida came out with their new freshman and just crushed everything, and they did not have this team total under of 18.5 real quick. Texas stomped Houston 35-11, so we got that one. 2 weeks in a row, I was completely wrong on the Aggies. They won 31-9 against Mississippi State. Whatever was wrong with their defense against Notre Dame, they fixed. 2 weeks in a row, their defense has been very, very strong, so we're not going to bet against A&M at home probably again the rest of the season. So Ohio State versus Minnesota under 43.5. Well, Ohio State scored 42, but we did get the under of Minnesota team total of 9.5 because they were held to only 3 points. Pitt minus 6.5 versus Boston College. It ended up being my best pick of the year, actually. 48-7 was the final there. Maryland had the win on the money line in this game, most of the game, but Washington came back and won 24-20, but they did not cover our 6.5 points that we got with Maryland, so we got that one. And then Notre Dame just couldn't put points up against Boise State, played one of their worst games of the season here, and only 28 points against Boise State at home was kind of sad, but didn't get that one. On the props, 5-6, like I said. Worst week I probably ever had on my touchdown calls. Singleton didn't have any because Katron Allen had a couple for Penn State, and they scored points against UCLA. Just Singleton didn't get in the end zone. Cameron Dickey did score. Jeremiah Smith did score. Le'Veon Moss didn't for A&M, and that game scored fewer points than I thought anyway. And Bryant Wesco, Clemson had so many points early that Wesco just, if you didn't get your work done early, you weren't getting it done, and that's what happened to Wesco in that game. So we didn't quite get home on those, but let's take a look at what we got week 7. Feeling pretty good here. Look, we're going to double down on a team total under against Ohio State, right? Illinois, 17.5 points. Luke Altmyer has a bad track record against top 10 defenses. Ohio State is playing lights out right now. We got that under 9.5 for Minnesota last week. This is a road game. I understand that Illinois is at home, right? Luke Altmyer is a very veteran presence at quarterback for the Illini, but Ohio State's defense has stopped everybody, and I don't think that's going to change here. I think they're also going to be able to possess the ball a lot. There's a lot of injured players in the secondary for Illinois. More on that when we get to the props here. But I just don't think Illinois is going to hang very well in this game, specifically because of Luke Altmyer's past against top defenses. His track record is not good. So we're going to take the under team total of Illinois at 17.5. I'm going to take the under still on the Oklahoma-Texas game. Now, John Mateer is listed as probable, right? I understand if you don't want to take it because of John Mateer, but I think John Mateer is going to start and play, but I think he's going to be packaged, right? Like, I think he's going to come in and play this game at about 50%, right? I mean, the dude had surgery September 28th or 26th or whatever it was. I just don't think he's going to be 100% back yet. So I know they said he's playing. I don't really believe it. And Mateer at less than 100% against a strong Texas defense is still not going to put up many points. And Arch Manning has nothing right now. I mean, the Texas offense has no identity right now at all, so they are not going to contribute very high to this total either. So I'm going to stick with the under, and I'm going to wait. Like, Mateer's going to play here. They're saying he's going to play. I think it's a little bit overblown, but he's going to play, and this total is going to keep climbing. It has climbed from 43.5 to 45.5 in a day. So I think it's just going to continue to ascend. So wait to take it. Maybe it gets up to 47 or 48.5 by the time we get there. So just wait and see what it does. I don't do too many alt lines. I am going to do two today, but the first one, Oregon minus 6.5 versus Indiana. It's minus 132. You can get this at 7. I just prefer to kill the hook. It has been moving slightly towards Indiana. It was opened up at 9.5. So I do think that this could possibly slide to 6.5, but I think it's going to stay at 7.5 because that hook, that's about right. But I think Oregon is an incredibly hard place to play. There's going to be rain, weird elements. We saw Ohio State go there last year and lose, and they won the national championship, right? So I just don't think Indiana is going to be as in this game as we're giving them credit for. And I like Indiana a lot. You guys have heard me speak very positively about the Hoosiers here, but I just think the Ducks are a different breed right now. Going into Penn State and winning that game was huge. And then Penn State losing to UCLA, we've had the Oregon hangover, right? Teams that play Oregon are usually bad, not just the week they play them, but the week after as well. So I don't think Indiana can pull this off on the road. If it was at home, I might be singing a different tune here, but I think Oregon at home is really tough right now. So I'm going to go anything less than a touchdown. We're taking the Ducks here. I'm going to go Michigan on the money line at USC, and I know this isn't a lot of people's favorite bet that I picked. I know a lot of people on USC. USC can score here. The problem is USC can't stop anything on defense, and I think that they will get stopped a little bit on offense by Michigan. Michigan did a great job against them last year. They actually won this game. This was a home game for Michigan last year, but I'll submit that team at home was worse than this team will be on the road. Now, I think USC is a better team than they were last year as well. So, it's not, it's apples and oranges. We're not comparing the same thing here, of course. But, they got gashed last year on the run, and I think that's going to happen again this year. I think Michigan's going to run right down their throat. I think they're going to dominate time of possession, and that's how you beat a team like USC. You don't let them have the ball. You make them panic when they do have the ball, thinking we got to score, and you put pressure on them. So I think Michigan can do this with their defense and their run game. Bryce Underwood is the key here. If he does not make major mistakes like he did against Oklahoma, and by the way, Oklahoma's defense way, way better than USC, I think this team is going to be pretty good on the road. They're going to put up a fight here. I think they come away with a win on the money line, so I'm going to take the Wolverines at USC. Look, I'm just going to roll Texas Tech until they don't hit. So I'm rolling down steam on this. BP didn't like it, so, you don't have to ride with me on this one. I understand this, but this is just me backing Texas Tech. They're 14.5-point favorites at home against Kansas. I think Kansas is a pretty good team, but they've had some injuries specifically on offense. I think what they're going to rely on in this game against this Texas Tech defense that has been awesome. I mean, look, they haven't been super challenged, right? They haven't had a really tough game yet. I mean, going to Utah and winning is very impressive, but Utah's probably not as good as we think. So, Texas Tech, there are still some questions, but this looks like an upper echelon team to me. This looks like a Big 12 title winner and a playoff contender. So I'm going to roll with Texas Tech and lay the 14.5. I think they beat the brakes off of Kansas. This one's weird. I've got a couple weird ones this week. I don't usually get too granular, but let's go first quarter over on LSU South Carolina. I might like the under for the entire game because neither one of these offenses have really done anything yet. But Both teams coming off bye weeks, so you get 2 weeks to script up drives. We just saw what that did for Florida, right? So I think that this could be a really good game for South Carolina and LSU to both put some points up early on those scripted drives. So if they both pay off, that's 14 points. But if we get one scoring a touchdown and one kicking a field goal, we're there too. So 9.5 in the first quarter. We're going to go over that for LSU, South Carolina. TCU minus 2.5 at Kansas State. We're going to take the over 55.5 too. Dylan Edwards is out for this game, and I know Kansas State has been a better offense when he's been healthy the last 2 weeks, but he was banged up last week, and they put up points. And I think TCU can score on anybody right now. I know they're on the road here, but I do not believe in this Kansas State team. They keep losing one-score games very frequently this season. I think three one-score losses already for K-State. It might be 4. So a lot of one-game losses for the Wildcats, and TCU is just doing this with offense. I think Josh Hoover has been excellent. Kansas State is just middling on defense. So we've seen the give up for K-State as well. I've lost some money on them. So we're going to go with TCU here. I just think they're a much better team than Kansas State this season. No Dylan Edwards for Kansas State hurts a little bit as well. But I think we're going to get 35 from TCU. They keep passing the ball well. I think they're going to put up a lot of points here. So can we get 21 from Kansas State? I think we can. So let's go 35-21 TCU. That gets us more than home. Maryland plus 6.5 versus Nebraska. Look, Nebraska's a good team, but Maryland just held their own at home against Washington, right? So Nebraska's coming in here, and I think their run problems have been overblown. Matt Rule talked about it this week. Like, hey, look, our running backs are great, but they've given up a lot of sacks. It's not really the O-line giving up the sacks either. It's Raiola holding the ball too long. And you cannot do that against this Maryland team. This Maryland team already has 19 sacks this season. They will get after the quarterback. So it's more for the defensive side to me, although I do really like Malik Washington. I also like I like him to be able to pull the ball down and run it a little bit against this team as well. So rushing total, I won't mess with in my props because he could get sacked, right? But I think that's going to be the difference maker for Maryland. Is I think Malik Washington's legs on offense, because they haven't had a particularly good run game yet at Maryland, and it's strength on strength versus Nebraska on offense for Maryland. Their passing game against a very good coverage unit, number 1 in the nation in Nebraska, so they're going to have to run the ball. I think Malik Washington hasn't been asked to run the ball that much this year as a true freshman, but he's going to be able to do it here. He is a dual threat. He ran a lot in high school, and it's a tool in the tool belt that he just has not unleashed yet. We're going to go Wisconsin team total under 17.5. Look, Mark Gronowski is a question mark in this game. I think he's going to play, though. They're splitting practice reps between all 3 quarterbacks that they could start at Iowa, but Ferentz said he was very encouraged on Wednesday, and everything is trending in the right direction. So I'm going to read between the lines, and we're going to say that Gronowski plays. Gronowski doesn't have to play for Wisconsin not to score. Wisconsin has been bad. They've been playing musical chairs at quarterback as well. So, yeah, I think that Wisconsin is going to not score 17.5 points against Iowa. Iowa held Indiana to 20, right? So this offense has been real rough for Wisconsin. I do not think they get to 17.5 points in this game. This is a tall ask. All right, before we get to the props, let me go ahead and tell you guys about the BP Discord. If you're looking to up your games in sports betting, join our exclusive sports betting Discord community at bettingpros.com/chat. Not only can you connect with expert handicappers who provide free picks for the NBA, NFL, MLB, NHL, player props, live betting, and more, but now you can also participate in our weekly community picks, cast your votes, see how your picks stack up against the experts, and track your success. And also, check your bets with the app, man. The Betting Pros app. Track your bets, stay accountable, and level up by downloading the Betting Pros app with Sportsbook Sync. Automatically track your bets across all major sportsbooks in one spot. Easily monitor your bet performance by sport and bet type, including game picks, props, and parlays. Create custom betting systems to find winning trends and profitable opportunities. Get a 7-day free trial on of the Betting Pros Premium by using code JUICE, JUICE, and activating your free trial on the upgrade screen. All right, let's go over the props from last week. Like I said, 5 and 6 touchdowns. We got 2 of 3 here. Danny O'Neal didn't play. Sorsby got over. Fegan did not get to 71.5 yards. Not even close. Jaden Paul was way over. He had so many carries. Jamari Taylor missed it by 1.5 yards on the rushing yards. And Romello Brinson we did get. We're going to double down on him this week as well. So looking at the props that I want to roll this week, we are going to go with touchdown calls from Jadarian Price, a running back from Notre Dame, against NC State. I just think Notre Dame is scoring on everybody. I think NC State is going to have no problem. They have really bad run defense. We're going to go with Katron Allen, who scored all those touchdowns last week, to get another one against Northwestern, I think. And our boy Seth, who is a Penn State fan. I think Penn State is going to be angry. I think they're going to roll Northwestern. I think he's right about this. I think everybody gets a piece. One of the highest overs of the week, Tennessee versus Arkansas. Let's go with Tennessee running back Deshaun Bishop to score a touchdown in that game. I think that one is going to be an easy one. It's almost at 70 points. I believe it was 68.5 when I looked the other day. I considered taking the over, man. Tennessee can't stop anybody, and they score a lot. Arkansas can't stop anybody either. That one is going to be a fun shootout. Michigan quarterback Bryce Underwood at USC. USC just giving up, rushing touchdowns to quarterbacks all over the place. Aiden Childs had 2 last week. So I think that USC has been giving this up. Bryce Underwood is going to have to pull it down and run. I think he can get into the end zone as well. As far as the props, Josh Hoover over 1.5 passing touchdowns at Kansas State. He has 15 touchdowns this season. K-State mid in coverage, real bad in pass rush grade. So I don't think they're going to put any pressure on Josh Hoover. It's part of the reason why I'm taking TCU in this game. I think he's going to be able to sit back and pick them apart and find the open man wherever that guy should be. Very high receiving grades for TCU as well. They got a lot of good weapons there. So over 1.5 passing touchdowns should be pretty easy for Hoover to get in that one. We're going to go Virginia Tech quarterback Kyron Drones over 10.5 rushing attempts against Wake, averaging 12 per game, or Georgia Tech, he's averaging 12 rush attempts per game. He's hit this prop in 3 of 4 Power 4 matchups. 3 of 4 quarterbacks against Georgia Tech have hit this prop. That is what I was trying to say. But 10.5 rush attempts for Kyron Drones, I think that could be pretty easy. He's been pretty much their entire offense. Ohio State wide receiver Jeremiah Smith over 6.5 receptions at Illinois. We talked about how Illinois has a lot of DB issues so far this season, and didn't hit the first 2 weeks, but he's hit this prop in 3 straight weeks. Julian Sand and Jeremiah Smith really working together now. I told you we're going to double up on SMU wide receiver Romello Brinson over 65.5 receiving yards versus Stanford. Stanford is 122nd in coverage grade, and last week 3 San Jose State wide receivers had over 100 yards against Stanford, and 4 cleared 65.5. So I think Romello Brinson hits this one easy. And the last one, Iowa State wide receiver Brett Eskildsen over 40.5 receiving yards at Colorado. He's hit this in 3 of 5 weeks. Colorado 134 of 136 graded teams in coverage right now. So just not playing well on the back end are the Buffaloes at all. Iowa State doesn't pass the ball that much, but Eskildsen has made some big plays. He can get most of this in one fell swoop. So just to double back to tell you what all we're betting this week, I'm going Illinois under 17.5 versus Ohio State. Oklahoma versus Texas under 45.5. Wait for that one because it is climbing. Oregon, I'm alt-lining this to -6.5. The line is -32. -132, excuse me. And you get this at 7, but I prefer to kill that hook. Michigan money line at USC, that's +110. Texas Tech, I'm laying 14 and the hook versus Kansas. I think they win that by 3 touchdowns. LSU versus South Carolina, over 9.5 in the first quarter, coming off bye weeks with those scripted drives. TCU -2.5 at Kansas State, and the over 55.5. We know TCU is going to score. Kansas State's offense has looked improved the last 2 weeks. We're going to bank on that. Maryland +6.5 at home versus Nebraska. Rayola's holding the ball too long. That Maryland pass rush is going to get to him and make this one a tight one. Wisconsin team total under 17.5, playing musical chairs at the quarterback. And Iowa's defense is great. We don't care if Gronowski plays or not to get to the under for Wisconsin. Props. We got touchdowns for Jadarian Price, Katron Allen, Deshaun Bishop, and Bryce Underwood. Over 1.5 passing touchdowns for Josh Hoover at K-State. Over 10.5 rush attempts for Kyron Jones against Georgia Tech. Over 6.5 receptions at Illinois for Jeremiah Smith. And over 65.5 receiving yards for Romello Brinson versus Stanford. And over 40.5 receiving yards for Fred Eskildsen at Colorado. That is it for me. Good luck, everybody, and I will see you next week. Take it easy.